Hi, and welcome to our tutorial on how to configure FileBrowser. This will enable you to access the school network drives from your iPad, both at school and at home. FileBrowser is the app we use to store work, share documents between teachers and students, and it's also a place that you can submit your work once it's completed. So, let's get started. The first thing you need to do is open the FileBrowser app on your iPad. If for any reason you do not have this app yet, please purchase this from the App Store now before we go any further. Once open, FileBrowser should look like this. The theme may be slightly different, however the layout will not change. You will have a Locations menu here on the left where you can access your local files and remote files. On the right will be any content that is within the files that is highlighted at a particular time. So as you can see at the moment, the My Files folder has been highlighted, and these are the two documents that live inside that. At this early stage, you'll have no remote files as these have not been configured yet. But when you do, your Locations menu should look a lot like this one in the after photo on the bottom right of this screen. Our goal at the end of this tutorial is to have you set up with your H drive, your Q drive and your Submit drive in FileBrowser. My Files is a place to store work and is available offline. Work kept here is not connected to the school network, so what we need to do today is to get you connected to the 3 network drives that we use at Glen Waverley Secondary College. To begin, you need to add a new folder by tapping on the plus button here. Once selected, a menu like this will appear. Please ensure that the PC button is selected. Now you're ready to set up your folder. So the first network drive we're going to configure to FileBrowser is your H drive. To start, you need to add the following address into this section here. Where it says student code in capital letters, you are to put your own student ID. So for example, if your student ID was ZZZ000, your address should look a little bit like this. The next step is to enter your username. Your username will be your student ID, followed by your password, and your password is your student password. In order to find the drive easily, we need to give it an appropriate name. In this case, we're setting up the H drive, so I want you to name this H drive as shown here. Once you've done this, you need to go to the Advanced Settings and tap on the I button here. Once in Advanced Settings, you need to set the Auto List Shares to off. You do this by moving the setting to the left so that no green appears. Once you've done this, you need to go to the top of the page and tap Save. Once you've done this, you'll notice that you no longer just have local files in your menu, but you will also have remote files as well. And if done correctly, you'll notice that the H drive is now appearing in your Remote Files menu. Now it is your turn to add the Q drive and Submit drive to FileBrowser. Do so by following the same steps as you've done previously. Use the addresses shown in the images, and your username and password will be the same as it was when you set up the H drive. You will also need to copy the display name as shown for each drive. If you have configured your device correctly, your screen should now look like this. So you'll have your 3 local files, so My Files, your iTunes sync folder and your photo library, and then directly underneath that you'll have your remote files. So you should have your H drive, your Q intranet drive and your Submit drive. Once you are connected to the school network, you will have access to the Q drive. This allows you to access files and work created by your teachers. As well as this, you will have access to your Submit folder. This allows you to hand in completed work to your teachers. As well as these 2 drives, you will have an H drive also. This is an area where you can store work files that are only accessible to you. You can access these inside and outside the college. This is similar to the My Files folder in FileBrowser, but you have the bonus of knowing that any work kept here will be backed up by the school and kept safe. Thanks for watching this tutorial. Should you need any further assistance, please feel free to come and see Mrs. Stevens or Mrs. Blazinchich in the e-learning studio in the middle school building.